Hello everybody and welcome back to a brand new video. Make sure you like this video down below and subscribe to the channel. And today we are going to be doing a video based on the state of Pennsylvania. How do the trends look? How does the early voting so far look for Republicans in the state of Pennsylvania? But first I have to tell you guys about my friends over at My Patriot Supply. Friends, we're fast approaching what many to believe the true second wave of COVID-19. This may be even worse than the first. On top of that, our nation's political uncertainty and civil unrest will impact every area of your life. Are you ready? Another round of quarantines and shortages may be on the way, and those who know it's coming are using today to prepare for the worst, and that is why I strongly recommend My Patriot Supply, the only source I personally use and trust for my emergency food preparedness plan, and you can too. Right now, save $100 off a full 4-week supply of nutritious meals that supply 2,000 calories a day to save your life when panic or disaster hits and food disappears again from your local grocery store. Saving $100 is impossible to pass up, especially now. So go to preparewitredeagle.com and get ready now. That's preparewithredeagle.com. There is no time to lose. Do it now. So guys, we have to focus on the state of Pennsylvania. And Donald Trump shocked the world where he won the white whale. The white whale for the Republicans ever since the 1980s was a victory in the state of Pennsylvania. And Pennsylvania, there's really two parts of Pennsylvania, but in the past, Pennsylvania was defined by the middle T, where you had Republicans winning the middle of the state as well as doing well in the northern counties, going from the west to the east. Besides Erie, yes, Center was a part of the Republicans' long-term coalition in the state of Pennsylvania, which is now gone Democrat in 2016, even though Trump could win it this time around. The Democrats did very well in western Pennsylvania, even in the rural parts among union workers, as well in the eastern part with Philly and some of the Philly suburbs, and they're actually gaining there. But the state is becoming more divided in terms of the two sides of Pennsylvania. Western Pennsylvania now is all ruby red. That is Steelers country. Eastern Pennsylvania, by Philadelphia, that's Eagles country. That's leaning a little bit more into the Democrat column, but Republicans are still making some gains up in places like Scranton, Lackawanna County. That's actually Biden's birthplace. Trump improved vastly over Obama's margin there when Obama in 2012 won it by 28. I don't expect Trump to continue the trend because Biden is on the ticket. I expect Biden to do a little bit better in Scranton than what Hillary Clinton did. However, he's not going to get that 63%, I can guarantee you, because the state is changing vastly from where it used to be. However, Biden will do better in places like the Philly suburbs. And of course, there's a lot of talk about what happens now with Pennsylvania in terms of the new Supreme Court case saying that they can count ballots that are received 3 days after Election Day as long as they're postmarked by Election Day. It's probably not going to impact the race very much because a lot of ballots will be returned before then. However, again, you do have to take into consideration there's always some shady stuff that does go on in Philadelphia. It existed last cycle, it existed in 2012 most likely, and it probably will exist again. So Donald Trump will need to win the state by a margin that would supersede any number of shady activities that happen in the state, if they happen or not. But either way, Trump is in fairly good shape in terms of registrations. I'm going to go over registrations, then we're going to look at early vote. I did have it as Tilt D in my last prediction. I still think it will be Tilt D as of right now, but there are signs of hope for Republicans in the trends in the early voting as well as polls. And before I get to the registrations, let's note this here. Biden's RTP average in Pennsylvania has fallen from 7.3% a week ago to 3.8% today. It's been effectively cut in half, Biden's RTP average in the state of Pennsylvania. The polls are tightening in Pennsylvania. This was on my Twitter. Make sure you go follow me if you don't already at Red Eagle Patriot. We just hit 17,000 followers on Twitter. I do some analysis on there as well, so make sure you do follow me if you do not already. But Biden's RTP average declining vastly. Maybe they're taking some early voting statistics into account to save the pollsters' credibility in many cases, because Biden was never going to win Pennsylvania by 7. Right now, he's up by less than 4. I think that if you look at the polls that were dead on accurate in Pennsylvania in 2018, 2016, Trafalgar has Biden up by 2. Barris has Biden up by 2, but there are a good amount of undecideds, and it is a late-breaking state to the point where Donald Trump does have a shot in the state of Pennsylvania. And if you want to look at this model here of voter registrations, and this has been back-tested all the way to 2000, and it's nearly been dead-on accurate, and it's actually overestimated the Democrats in nearly every single election, including the election of 2016. It had Trump winning by just 19,000 votes, and it does go by registration changes and trends and things like that. Donald Trump is expected by this model, which has traditionally overestimated Democrats, to win the state of Pennsylvania by close to 300,000 votes. Now, I do have grievances with that because a lot of people switching from Democrat to Republican did actually vote for Trump. They are legacy Democrats, and you'll see a lot of legacy Democrats as well voting for Donald Trump in this election cycle, many of whom have probably forgot they're actually registered with the Democratic Party. But registrations favoring Republicans is a very, very good thing. It would be vastly unprecedented for them to lose ground in the state of Pennsylvania. But again, you do have to take into consideration a lot of those people did vote for Trump, and now they're switching their registrations over to Republicans. A little bit different than places like Arizona, places like the state of Florida, where Republicans have actually gained, which is a very good sign in terms of the Sun Belt, as well as the state of North Carolina, where Republicans have gained in registrations. But Pennsylvania is a little bit of an oddity, but the fact that Republicans have gained in nearly every single county outside of, I believe it was Montgomery and Delaware, they gained in Bucks for much of 2020. They actually gained a little bit in Philadelphia, believe it or not. So you do have to take that into consideration here as well. A lot of information here to dive into, but we are going to get to the voter registration statistics before we take one final look at the map. And Republicans are expected to trail the Democrats over last cycle, partially because of Trump's attacks on mail-in voting, as well as the fact that Governor Wolf's system has been under a lot of scrutiny by Republicans in the state. A lot of them are alleging fraud against the system that is leading more Republicans to want to vote in person, and it shows. But either way, the Democrats do have nearly a 500,000 vote advantage here by the registered party model. By the modeled party model, it doesn't look as bad for Republicans. They have 25%. Again, this is a system that tries to perfectly gauge the unaffiliated voters as being either Democrat or Republican, tries to gauge the way that certain people vote, whether they're registered Democrat or Republican or not, based on their past votes in past election cycles. And it shows Democrats lead by less than 400,000 votes. But still, that is a big discrepancy. And we also have to look at where exactly are the votes coming in from? Where does Biden's lead come from? And if you go by county, you look at Allegheny, you already see that over 100,000 of that does come from Allegheny County. If you want to look into this, if you want to look at some other counties that lean more Democrat in the state, Chester County, which is a suburb of Philly, you see nearly 30,000 of that lead does come from Chester County. If you want to look at a place like Montgomery County here, which is a large suburb of Philadelphia that is probably going to vote for Biden by around 20 to 30 points in the 2016 election, Montgomery County voted for Hillary Clinton by 19%. And in Montgomery County, you see another big vote dump there for the Democrats. You can't look too much into early voting unless you look at where it's exactly coming from. And a lot of the early voting is coming from Democrat areas. In Philadelphia in particular, Democrats have over 150,000 vote lead there. So you talk about the 500,000 vote lead that Biden has, and much over half of that does come from places like Philadelphia. It does come from places like Montgomery County. And when you adjust by modeled party, the Democrat advantage is a little bit lower than what it is. Again, modeled party is not a perfect gauge. I've talked about why people should not look into early voting as the be-all and end-all. But you look at where the vote's coming in from, and you can tell it's a much different story than what the numbers really show. And a lot of Republicans in the rural areas will just choose to vote in person, if I'm just going to be completely honest. You look at a county like Pike County, very small county. Republicans are doing a little bit better there, but again, not a whole lot of votes are counted out of some of these smaller counties. You can look into some of these counties. Some of them, like Luzerne, don't even have 1,000 votes in. So it's very difficult to look at this data and make a clear determination, because even though I think Pennsylvania probably does tilt into Biden's column, I think Trump has a very good shot at winning it, about a 45% chance at winning the state. And I do hope I'm wrong, and if I get more metrics between now and my final prediction, which I will make on November 2nd, I will fill in Pennsylvania as tilt Republican, but I just can't make that determination right now based off of the data. Either way, it's going to be close. Make sure you do get out and vote if you are in Pennsylvania. And if you are voting by mail, make sure you do check with your township clerk that your ballot actually gets submitted properly. But I do think a lot of you guys will be voting in person, whether it's early in person or whether you are voting in person on election day. But overall, the map of Pennsylvania, you look at the map and you look at the change from 2012, Trump will seek to improve in the Pittsburgh area. He has hit Biden hard when it comes to energy. He's gotten the endorsements of the Boilermakers Union in Pittsburgh, which Biden lied about having their endorsement. That was not the case. Trump got the endorsement there. And you look at the county surrounding Pittsburgh and you can see that even the suburbs, Washington County, Beaver County, they actually swung heavily into Donald Trump's column, which contradicts the narrative that all suburbs are the same and all suburbs are trending against the Republican cycle, because I've talked about this in my suburbs video, that that's not entirely the case. Erie County's a bellwether. Trump is going there today, and he knows it's a bellwether. Republicans are down in early voting there, but Donald Trump did win the county by 1.6 percentage points in the 2016 election. The problem for Trump is the counties surrounding Philadelphia. Biden is from Delaware. He lives just about 10 minutes away from the Delaware County border with Newcastle County in Pennsylvania and Delaware. So he's basically from the Philadelphia area. He is technically from Scranton, but he has lived in Delaware for most of his life. He has lived in Delaware, which is a lot similar to Philadelphia than it is to Scranton. Trump hitting him hard on the trade deals, I think, does kind of weaken his chances in the state. But Biden will seek to run it up in places like Chester County that trended heavily to the left in 2016. Montgomery County, Bucks is a unique one. That could go either way. Trump narrowly lost the county. So did Romney. So it's going to be an interesting one to look at in terms of Bucks County. But Philadelphia, the margin for Biden there, that's what he needs to get up. Donald Trump got 109,000 votes in the county of Philadelphia, which is basically the city of Philadelphia. That's all that's really in the county. But 480,000 votes is not necessarily going to cut it so far. Obama won it by nearly 500,000 votes. And while turnout was not bad for Democrats in the 2016 election, a lot of white working class voters that do live in the northeastern part of Philadelphia did come out and vote for Trump. And with the riots, you may see that effect again. So you can't really count on high turnout in Philadelphia, but Biden is looking to drive up his turnout in the suburbs in order to win. Donald Trump needs to keep the margins in these rural areas coming in heavy for him, which Republicans did. I think the Republican came close to outperforming Trump in the 2018 special election that encompassed several of these counties up here for Pennsylvania's 12th congressional district. So either way, this state is a dogfight just like Michigan and Wisconsin. It's going to go down the wire. The Biden campaign knows it. That's why they're spending so much time there. I don't believe it's going to be the tipping point state, but it could be the tipping point state. I would still expect Wisconsin and Arizona to be it, but Pennsylvania very well could, and we will have to wait and see at the end of the day what exactly happens. But we know that Pennsylvania is going to go down the wire, and it's definitely going to be one of these states to watch on election night. So anyways, guys, thanks for watching this video. Please like this video down below, comment down below, and subscribe to the channel. Hit the bell for notifications so you never miss another video. Follow me on social media, become a member, donate to the Patreon, or subscribe. Star links in description. As always, guys, thanks for watching. Red Eagle, out.